So how many kids do you have?
So I got two. So I have a 2.5-year-old named Emery, and then I got a 3-month-old. This is Sebastian.
Hey,
Uh,
Sebastian, look
he's a
at
new,
him.
he's a new guy. He's a super chill kid. So two, and that's it. Not like two and counting. It's
We'll
two.
see.
It was one, and that was done. We were one and done, and then
Did,
and then two was the accident. So
does your wife want more, or you just, or it's like you guys are just like, nah, we're doing man on man the whole time and it's over.
yeah, that's a good. So Jackie, she's like, well, it's not like, I don't want you to have surgery right away. Let's like keep the options open. And I'm like, you know, like sniffing up.
Hey, what up, everybody? This is Jayton Gunter, owner of Grapes and Sand Publishing, and we have another episode of Drinking with Dads. This is a show where I give fathers their flowers.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Drinking with Dads, and I definitely have a cool dad here. But before we get into that, just so you know the premise of this show, I basically want to just give fathers their flowers. I realize a lot of times that we don't get any really pats on the back for all the work we do. It's not really acknowledged. It's just like, it's mama's world, which is okay. It's mommy's world, but it's okay for that. They do a lot, and they're also underappreciated too, in my opinion. But we're really underappreciated. So I kind of want to do a show to kind of recognize that since I'm a brand new father. And with that being said, because I'm a brand new father, this gives me ample time to kind of pick other fathers' brains about the way they raise their kids. And so with that being said, I have a really, really cool friend of mine. I've known him forever, feels like now. Joel Kampfe is on the podcast with me. Joel, say what's up to everybody.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? All right.
So he's all the way in Denver. He's all the way in Colorado. So I'm glad everybody's able to meet you, Joel. What are you sipping on?
Yeah, so I'm sipping on some Syrah, my favorite grape. We're going to Crow's Hermitage. I got some Chave Celine 2021. And it's singing right now, man. It's like got the meatiness going on, a little bit of green. I'm digging it right now. It's 5:30 where I'm at right now, so I'm just after a full long day. Every sip counts.
I feel that. I feel that. So this guy, just so you guys know, as you can tell, he knows what he's talking about wine, and I'm a wine guy. This is my wine friend. He used to be my GM actually at our old spot Eno in San Francisco. And you don't keep in touch with all your old people from work, but he's one guy I've always wanted to keep in touch with because he's one of those people that when he found out I was my lady was pregnant, he gave me some really good advice when he flew into San Francisco, and I didn't forget that. So when I was trying to pick the list of fathers for this, he was definitely one of the people that I thought of. And I appreciate what you said to me when we were all having margaritas and shots of, shots of tequila.
Yep. What did I tell you? Remind me.
Well, so one thing one thing you were talking about was, first of all, listening to your significant other. Make sure you're really listening to her. So that was a big one that I heard from you. Patience was another one that I remember you talking about. And finding time for yourself, finding some stuff to like really like take a moment a day or something to just chill out, like just like look yourself in the mirror, so those three things were things I took from what you said, and I was like, I it's gonna be part of these questions a little bit, so you'll already have answers for some of this stuff. Uh, so with that being said, first question. Oh yeah, let me let you guys know what I'm sipping on too. I totally forgot. I have Petite Syrah from Matchbook over in Dunnigan Hills, kind of outside of Sacramento, Socorro, California. I know you guys probably cannot really see this label, but I will try. And I'll try to put it in the video anyway. So Matchbook Petite Syrah is what I'm sipping on. And it's delicious. Has like this really cool like blueberry plum thing going on here. Like fleshy plum. Nice little white pepper going on here too.
What's the
And this is
alcohol
like,
like?
so this is probably 14.5 or something like that, 14.8. Let's see here.
A lot of that California sunshine over there.
Actually, no, 13.9.
Oh, they're liars. Cool.
So yeah, exactly.
I always appreciate a good 1% liar. All right.
Yeah, I mean it's a full body, so
Yeah.
it's full body, but it has a decent amount of acid here, man. Like my mouth is watering like crazy. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's delicious. Nice little kind of pencil lead thing on the mid palate to the finish. It's deep. I like it. I like
Yeah,
it. So anyway, my first question for you, my friend.
yeah.
What was the last gift that you can remember on Father's Day?
Oh man, that that's not easy to remember. I don't know. I mean, a part of me thinks I got like a squatty potty like a couple years ago, maybe something practical, you know. But like nothing's like ringing out. We're like, oh, I got this thing, and I'll never forget. But I'm sure it was like a lunch or an appreciation thing,
Yeah, the
moment
father
in
gift.
time, or a towel, maybe some socks. I don't know, but
That's definitely definitely typical of being a father.
yep, yep, yep. Something practical,
Something they made at school, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like here's like Emery's handprint, painted. I don't know, something like that.
So how many kids do you have?
So we have two. So I have a 2.5-year-old named Emery, and then I got a 3-month-old. This is Sebastian.
Hey,
Uh,
Sebastian, look
the
at
new,
him.
he's a new guy. He's a super chill kid. So two, and that's it. Not like two and counting. It's
We'll
two.
see.
It was one, and that was done. We were one and done, and then two was the accident. So
Does your wife want more, or you just, or is like you guys are just like, nah, we're doing man on man the whole time and it's over.
yeah, that's a good. So Jackie, she's like, well, it's not like, I don't want you to have surgery right away. Let's like keep the options open. And I'm like, like
I didn't
sniff it up and cut it. Because I don't want to play zone defense,
want to play zone.
But no, I don't want to play zone, man. Man to man is already hard enough. So I'm happy. My life is, it's full. My heart is full. I don't need it to expand anymore.
I feel that. I feel that. Did you always want kids? Was this like always in the cards for you? That you're like,
Yeah,
what? I'm gonna have kids.
Yeah, I always wanted kids. I think I had so much fun as a kid growing up, and I had a good family. I have there's four of us kids, six total in our family. So a lot of action always going on. I have two older brothers and an older sister, so there's a lot of like punking each other and wrestling and just all that stuff going on our whole life. So um, I wanted to, replicate that as much as possible,
Mhm.
and Jackie did too. And we're having fun with this so far.
That's dope. That's
Yeah.
dope. So you guys, would you say that you and Jackie, your wife, have come from the same kind of background, or you guys have a different type of upbringing as far as like, parenting and stuff like that? You're the way you were parenting.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's a lot of overlap, which helps.
That's right.
I think you need some of that overlap because you guys we're both grabbing from stuff subconsciously to parent. But like our parents are very different. My parents are like, you know, um, man, how do you summarize? It's just different. I feel like we have a lot of alignment on like more morality and where
Mhm.
what we want to do with these kids and like how we want to raise them for the most part. I think there is just like some differences on the background that just happens naturally because you're always going to be with someone who's going to be different, comes from a different
Yeah.
family, no matter how much overlap. So you bump into that sometimes where you bump heads and you're like, oh no, this is what I thought we are going to be doing. No, no, this is what I thought we are going to be doing. But but I'd say majority of the time we're like we have the same trajectory as parents.
It's so funny you say that. So I've done a few of these now, and one of the main things I've noticed with parents, like with fathers and their wives or significant others, is the one thing that they have in common is the fundamental or the value system and the fundamentals. They always bring up the value system, the fundamentals
Yeah.
behind raising their kids. They all have the same goal. They have the conversation. And I think that's very important, especially when you differ so much in backgrounds. Because I mean, although you guys have a similar background, I've noticed that with other people, they'll have like totally opposite the ways they were brought up, but their fundamental value system of how they want to raise their kid is the same. And I think that's really dope.
Yeah.
With that being said, do you guys have different roles in your house? Like, for example, I know the traditional is like fathers did like wait until your father comes home, like he's the disciplinary, and then the mom's like the nurturer. Or do you guys both kind of in this new age? It seems like everybody's doing both things. You kind of do both. You like, are you kind of nurturing or are you like a disciplinary? Or are you one or the other? Or are you both? And
Yeah.
if you guys are different, then which one is who's who?
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Drinking with Dads will be right back. I just released a new show called Drinking with Dads, and this is a platform where I give fathers their flowers. I have some merch to back that up. So if you have a wonderful father in your life, or you're looking for some cool father gear for yourself, go to my online store, fruitandglassgear.etsy.com, and check out what we got there. Cheers. Now back to the show.
So that's a good. It's an interesting question because I think the way I imagined it would be more traditional, but
Uh-huh.
Jackie's not very traditional. She's more on like she's more of like a feminist and more of like equality between the two, which I
Yeah,
love. Like
I love that
like
too.
like on every level,
Yeah,
and so like if she's gonna be spending her time away from work feeding the kid and taking care of the kid while I'm at work, then there's going to be a time where I'm doing the same thing. And that's what we did with Emery. And that's what we're going to do with Sebastian. She took off 3 months to like really focus on the kid while I worked. And now she's going back to work in March, and I'll be doing the same thing. I'm going to be feeding this guy, hanging out with him, bonding with him. I did the same thing with Emery, and it was great,
yeah,
and like that's how it is on a day to day. It's like when I see Jackie and she's struggling, I'm like, oh, that kind of sucks for her because her role's tough right now. I'm
yeah,
thinking that could be me. I got to go over there and help her out because
yeah,
I'm doing the same things, So I'm not like, oh, her job's, tough, and that's not going to affect me. It's always going to affect me because I'm going to be looking in the mirror soon with that same issue. So, you get what you put into it, and you get what you put into your partner. So we always try to support each other as we both do the same things. Jackie, she likes to be she likes to be bad cop. Funny enough, she likes to be bad cop.
really.
Like I like to be good cop. It's with Emery, I'm always like very positive reinforcement, like goofing off with her. Like she's a silly girl, man. She's
Yeah,
like she has a lot in common with me.
with
And
you.
Jackie's like, no. Like, hey, we got to do this, right? We got to, let's keep in line. So there's a lot of that, which is funny. And I look at my mom and dad, and I'm like, oh, that's how my dad was. He was a goofball. And my mom
Yeah.
was like, all right, let's straighten it out a little bit. So
That's so funny. I could just imagine you and Jackie with Emery just trying, like they're like just in her face, like like having a good time. And
yeah,
Jackie's
yeah.
like, "Are you guys done yet? We have stuff to do."
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But it's
That's
good though. Like it's good though, because like I'm learning from Jackie how she's parenting and she's learning from me. So sometimes she gets a little goof off a little bit with Emery. And I'm like, whoa. So we like, we feed off each other. But I think our proclivity, I like to have fun. I like to like show them the world in their imagination. And she's like, hey, like I want to show them how things work and how things are
yeah,
done. I want Emery to have like a crazy imagination and be like, let's see, I think outside the box. And
yeah,
Jackie's like, I want her to like think, like learn how to think practically. So I think both is good,
yeah.
but we both add those ingredients to that.
I I think so for me, what I've noticed in the last 9 months with Emil is I'm like you in this way, not with the like the playfulness because we are all silly, all three of us. Like he loves to crack up and laugh. She cracks up and she keeps him laughing all the time. I make him laugh all the time. We're a goofy family. We have some serious moments, of course, but we're a goofy family. But the
Yeah.
one thing that is similar with me and you is I really want him to be creative. Like I want him to tap into that creativity. So I do things to make sure that I'm feeding that. Like I like in the mornings we're listening to jazz. Like we wake up in the morning and we're listening to jazz and like we have our conversation time. And then I'll ask him like, what are you grateful for? Even though he's not really having sentence right now, but I'll be
Yeah.
like, what are you grateful for? Like I want to make sure that like I just want to tap into that. I have some incense going. Like I just want him to
Yeah.
feel chill, relaxed, and like let his mind just go. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I really want to be creative. And you can be creative in business. I don't care, but I do want him to be a creative kid.
Yeah.
With you guys, what you guys having the first kid with Emery before she came? Did you feel like you had everything ready for her arrival, like financially, mentally, and stuff? Or when she came, or you had it together, but then she came and just blew everything out of the water, and you guys were like, what are we doing now? Like, what's going to happen now? Like, when you take her home, like, were you guys still secure after the birth, or were you guys like, oh shit, what do we do?
Dude, we've never been more insecure in our entire lives, man. It was like I mean, so she's a COVID baby. She was born in 2021.
Wow.
And like everyone, like I was between jobs. Jackie was in the ER a ton. Emery came a month early. So like the scene was we take Emery home from the hospital and like her baby room is essentially like a drawer that we're pulling out, putting her in. Her dresser with all of her diapers hasn't been made, so we have hammers and nails and
Oh,
IKEA everywhere. Like our cats are running around like crazy, so it's chaotic, man. I mean, like we might as well just, like there's no room at the inn kind of thing.
yeah. It was like the scene out of a movie.
Exactly, yeah. It's just like put her in the trough. So we were so unprepared, and a lot of that had to do with being like she was a month early, so like we thought we had 2 more weeks to like nest and get stuff ready, but financially we've never been more insecure. When Emery was coming out, like we had more unknowns than we've ever had in life. Like we were in New York, she was born in Manhattan, and we were living in Brooklyn, so we were like bringing her back to this 1-bedroom apartment that was just like a disaster bomb had gone off. And I was like in between Sotheby's and Acker doing like wine auction stuff. So more questions than answers by far. But like it teaches you a lot though. Like it teaches you to like you wake up, you handle your day, you go to sleep, and then you do it again, and you just like stack days. You just keep stacking them. And then like, oh, a door opens or like an idea happens or something. But I always think we were just walking through the shroud, like not like we could see 1 foot in front of us and that's it, but we
Yeah.
just have to keep walking forward. And that's what we
Yeah.
did for, so that's the environment that Emery walked into, was just like
What's
upside down.
going on here? I think for me it's kind of similar. We had like little plans, but she's a planner, right? Definitely a planner. And I'm like, I've always kind of been like, I was trying to plan with her for this, right? But as soon as the kid comes, I'm sitting there and I'm like, no, we just got to get through the day. So every day is like, I stay in the moment. There's stuff that has to be done, of course. Like we have to have a feeding schedule and all this other stuff, like find out that sleeping schedule and all that. But the trying to like plan out like what's going to happen from like a week from now or 2 days, I'm like, no, let's just get through the day.
Yep.
But still come through. The balance between us is like she's really good at that kind of stuff. So she'll plan something, and I'll hear what she says. This is so bad, but it happens all the time with me. I hear what she says, right? Yeah. And then because I'm in the midst of doing stuff, it comes and goes in one ear and goes out the other ear.
Yep.
And so when she brings it up later on, so today we have to do this. And I'm like, I don't remember. She's like, you need to pay attention. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Right. But it's just hard because I'm just trying to get through the day. I'm in survival mode a lot of times, and she's in planning mode. And it's like, sometimes I mess up because I'm not paying attention to that. Like I'm trying to just get through the day and keep the kid happy and fed and all that stuff. And I'm staying at home right now, and she's at work. So it's like I'm doing the daily stuff for the most part. Me and her mother. Mother comes probably about 2 to 3 to 4 times a week, depending on the week. And she's a great help. But like a lot of times, a lot of things are falling to me on the day-to-day stuff, and so it's gotten easier now because we have somewhat of a routine. But the early days was rough. It's like everybody I talk to, and I ask them about the first 6 months of their kid being born. Everybody says I put it out of my mind. I don't know what you're talking about. Some of the worst stuff ever happened in that first 6 months. And I don't remember it. I put it out of my mind. I'm like, damn, is that true? And then I went through the first 6 months and I was like, oh, I get it.
And too, as someone who's probably working on a bunch of projects while at home, while, hanging out with a meal and whatnot, you learn that these things can't overlap very well, man. I mean, it's like when you try to mix work and overlap it with taking care of a kid or giving the kid attention, like you're half-assing both and nobody's
And nobody's happy.
Nobody's happy, man. That stuff doesn't go away. I mean, I'm working from home right now, and it's like, I'm like, no, I'm here, but I'm not here.
Exactly.
So nobody talk to me, but then like, you got to help out. And so pause and like, that's what I'm struggling with like constantly. I'm like, I got to separate the two.
Yeah. The problem is the word that you could get away back in the day was, nah, can't do that right now. No doesn't really work. when you have a kid. She asked
Yeah.
me something, and instead of me going straight to no, like which was my default back in the day on certain things, there's no no anymore. It's just like get up
Yep.
and come help. And I'm
Yep.
like, damn, she's right. And it's so funny too because I have a once a day or once a week thing that like I have Friday nights. She gets home from work. She says, "I got the baby. Go do whatever you want for the night." Right. So give me. I have one like a certain amount of time on every Friday to go enjoy myself. And my normal thing, this is bad. I go to the cigar lounge, right, which is
Yeah.
fine.
That's what I
But
was gonna
instead of
guess. I was
just
gonna say cigar lounge. I was gonna guess
yeah,
that.
of course, but instead of just sitting there and like enjoying the cigar and watching the games with everybody and just having a good time, I'm working. I have my
Yeah.
laptop there and I'm working because it's the only time where I don't have to worry about being just like taken away from my work. Like nothing's
Yeah.
going to distract me,
Yeah.
nothing's going to pull my attention, nothing. It's I get to focus on my work and I actually enjoy it. I sit there, I'm editing work, I'm smoking, a cigar, I bring my own scotch, I sit there with my scotch or wine or whatever, maybe play dominoes after I'm done if there's some guys playing dominoes. But for the most part, man, it's like I'm in heaven working. I just need to be able to have that time sometimes. So I get it. With your kid, when you guys had your kid, did you guys feel like you got the partying stuff out of your system before you had that kid? Before you had the first?
We're dreaming about like rooftop rose all the time, man.
Stay tuned. Drinking with Dads will be right back.
I'm the author of the Man Book. The Man Book was created so that every man has a chance to become great. If you look at the stats, men that grew up without a father have a harder chance trying to become great because of their father's choices and their father's choices. The Man Book is here to break that cycle so that every man has that chance.
The Man Book, helping boys become men with something as simple as tying a tie. Also being a father, fashion, how to love. This is a book that you need on your shelf. It will help you and it will help people that you love. Get it by going to dreamteamantioch.org. Cheers. Now back to the show.
But no, the answer is no. We haven't got. I would say like wild, crazy party, yeah, but like we're both very social beings that like
I know.
it's tough. It's tough because we don't have a ton of family help, so we have to like pay for it if we're gonna go out and
Oh
go
yeah.
wild. And like I'm missing all these wine tastings,
Me too.
Like,
Me
it's
too.
just like the whole wine world's kind of passing me by because I'm like I can't go to all these things anymore. So I just like swallowed that pill of this is my new reality, either like roll with it or like fight against it, even though it's not going anywhere. And like
Yeah.
so I've learned to roll with it a little bit more, but like man, like the moment we get some coverage, we're finding a rooftop, we're finding some rosé, we're finding some dance music, and we're going to town.
I feel you. I have one of the guys I interviewed, Jason. He's him and his wife divorced a few years ago. They have two kids, and they divorced a few years ago. So, but he has a girlfriend now, and she's wonderful. I love both. I love his wife too, but I love his new girlfriend is dope. And she's like, no, we're going out. And so like he was like a father who was like he used to dance back in the day professionally. Like he would go on tour and stuff. He's a dope dancer. So he loves to dance, but he like after having the kids, that was out of the he doesn't do that anymore. But his new girlfriend's like, no, we're going out. And so he goes partying. And I tell him, and I keep on turning him down, but I said, don't stop asking me. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you and EJ, what are you guys doing next Saturday? We're going to this party or going to this event. And every time I'm like, no, no, no. But I'm like, just keep on asking, please.
Yep.
One of
Yep.
those no's is going to turn into a yes. And she's going to be like, let's go. And we're going to party
Yeah.
our butts off. And
Yep.
I'm looking forward to that day. I really am, man.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
we're too early in, but I'm looking forward to that day.
And that's
I
important
have
though
a
to
question.
tell your friends too, is to keep asking me. Just keep asking,
Yeah.
keep asking.
Don't trip if I say no. Just keep
Yeah.
on asking, please.
Keep on asking.
With your two, and I know it's kind of early with your newest one, but with your two children, tell me something that makes you very happy about them. Now, it could be like a characteristic, like something that you can already notice in them that is like, I think that's really cool about them, or maybe they're just really good at something. Like maybe Emery's like really good at like football or basketball or whatever, it's a sport or a game or like whatever it is. Tell me one thing about each of your children that makes you proud.
Yeah. Man, Emery, there's a lot, man. She's a very curious and creative girl as a 2.5-year-old. And that makes me so happy. Like
Oh,
she likes to tinker. She like can run off on her own and like, stay busy with like puzzles or trying to figure something out. She like the one thing I really love about her, like the one thing I just like it cracks me up every time is like
yeah.
I take her to school or daycare every day.
Mhm.
45 minutes away because it's where Jackie works, but she's on maternity leave. So she's home with a new baby. So I'm taking essentially Emery to her old work, right?
I
So
see. Okay.
that's why it's such a far distance. But like in that time, we just like we goof off. Like we, she likes to listen to music and like kids' music, which gets annoying so fast. But like what she does now is makes up her own words to it. And like that's like my favorite thing. So she's just like will like rhyme and flow using her own words to make me laugh. And like it rhymes and it sounds really cool. I'm like, dang, you're 2.5 and you're already like thinking outside the
Even
box.
you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm like, dang, man. So like we just crack up. So I just like that she sees reality and she's learning reality and then she learns how to twist it.
Yeah.
Which is like that's like how I am. And that's kind of what I
Yeah.
teach is like take what you see and don't just like take it for
Well,
reality. Like
yeah.
take it, twist
Yeah.
everything until you've squeezed all the lemon out, the lemon juice out of this world. Like keep turning things and keep like
Yeah.
making things up. And like, she does that to a point where it annoys me sometimes where I'm like, no, like keep it straight, keep it straight. But she
Yeah.
likes everything kind of like backwards just to see what will happen. But like I like that about her. It's because I know that she understands the real way, and then she takes
Mhm.
the real way and then flips it on the head. So that's fun with her. And then Sebastian, he's just a chill baby. I mean, he's 3 months old, so his personality, I mean, he's just like likes likes to hang out. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard with a 3-month-old, but like he's he smiles a lot. He makes us laugh. I don't
Look
know.
at that kid, man. Oh my god.
He's a
You guys
good
do make beautiful babies, though. I gotta say.
Thank you.
Y'all make beautiful babies,
We'll
bro.
take it. We'll take it.
What's one of the what's one of the funniest situations they've put you in? Either one of them. Like a funny story. One of my friends was like they had a blowout on a plane. Like the kid had a like through the diaper and everything just everywhere, and they're in the plane in a 5 hour flight and just embarrassed the hell out of them. So that was one of the stories. But it could be any type of funny story you can think of with either one of your kids. What's one of them that you have?
Well, the one that's like fresh in my mind happened like 3 days ago in Mexico. Oh my gosh. It was just like it was like wild and crazy because Emery got bit by a bunch of mosquitoes and bugs and had all these like dots around her face. She looked like a leper. She also developed a cough. So she was like walked around, people were like, stay away from me. You look like you should live on an island. And so we were just like in this really downtime and like we were at the beach and this guy walks by with some ice cream. And so we got, Emery, you've been sick and cranky. Like, we'll get you any ice cream you want. She gets like bubblegum ice cream that's blue.
Uh-huh.
And she's like happy for a little bit. And simultaneously, we're like, potty training Emery. She's using the toilet and all this stuff. And we're like telling her, like, Emery, whenever you have to go to the bathroom, like, let us know, let us know.
Yeah.
And, we'll help you out. And we're back at the apartment, and we have this little tiny deck. And she takes off her diaper and she's running around. She's like, naked buns, I'm naked, like just like wanting us to chase her around the room, and then it gets quiet all of a sudden. We're looking around, distracted by probably Sebastian, and we look outside and there's like this like blue looking toy outside. We're like, what's this bright blue toy? Like, what is that? And I walk closer and then I look at Emery and she's like, Daddy, I have to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, okay. And I look down, I'm like, oh, that's not a blue toy. It was like ice cream colored poop that she just took a dump outside. And it was bright blue. And I was like, what the heck? I wanted to take a picture of it. I was like, what is that? Like, how did you put this blue poop? And it was just like, it like cracked us up because we were so stressed. You're so sick. And we just like couldn't help but to laugh. We're like, what is this? Like, you're supposed to tell us before you go. And why is it blue? I'm like, man, that ice cream was like artificial colors up at the yin yang because it just passed right through her.
That's
So that like
hilarious.
cracked us up, man. And that's the thing is like, you got to have a sense of humor about everything or else you're going to go crazy.
That's the truth. That's the truth. That's one thing I'm realizing. I mean, we're silly. Man. We're just a silly family. It just is what
Yeah.
it is. Like I said, though, we can get serious when we need to, but for the most part, we be cracking each other up. Like it's fun to watch this little kid just develop in front of my eyes, man. Like and then like sometimes he'll be staring off and stuff at something, and I know exactly what's going on in his head because I was like that. So it's like I can see the wheels literally turning in his head. I look at EJ and I'm like, he gonna try to get over that thing in a second. And then look at him. Next thing you know, he's like trying to climb something to get over it. I'm like, he's just trying to figure out a way to get over it. You know, it's crazy.
So is
Crazy.
Emil more like you or more like EJ? Like who's he more like?
So you know, I don't know, man. Like I think he has a little bit of both of us. There is he looks like her until he like laughs or he's angry. Then he looks like me. So like the extremes, like his expressions on his face are me, but like the like his normal face like looks a lot like her. As far as personality, he has, I don't know, we both can be stubborn, but like she can get really like lying, and I think he has a little bit of that. Like he has like the stubbornness where I don't care what you're saying, like I see right through you. Like it's whatever you're saying, I don't believe you type of look. He has that in spades, but he also has like my kind of like creativity and anger. He has that anger side that I think that comes mostly from my side. So that's gonna be something that we're gonna be working on as soon as he gets old enough to understand me. That the meditation is gonna be on full. We're starting that early because I do that every day already for myself. And he's gonna be right there with me. Like, no, you sit your little behind down and you close your eyes. You empty your mind, okay? Don't move.
But that's so smart. I feel like you got to teach these kids meditation at a young age. You know, like breathe in, breathe out, and get empty your like. What I feel like a baby and a toddler. Like, what better age to start instilling that stuff in them? Because like mental health is so important, and like why not start at a young age where they can like. They might not understand it, but at least they can like hear it, remember it, and then like one day it'll click and like, oh shit, like this is something that's gonna help me in life.
Yeah, it's one of those things too. We never had that growing up. Like our thing was always my parents, and God bless my parents, but like it was always like we're praying. Like, of course they want you to talk it out, but for the most part, like if it gets too difficult, just pray about it, and it'll go. Like you'll figure it out. And I'm like, sometimes you're angry in that moment, and you need to figure out a way to temper that in the moment, not just pray about it after you finally chill down, because you've already reacted by that time, you know.
Right.
So I've had to like, so I meditation is going to get out a lot because it helps me to take myself out of the moment a lot of times and it'll keep my anger at bay. And I know he's going to have that already, so I want to make sure that I get him early so he knows how to deal with his anger issues. I call him my little ball of rage because he's hot, dude. He's just like, you can see his temperature going up. And he's like, ah. It's really cute and endearing when you know it comes from you. But I think everybody else is going to get in trouble.
I know, it's funny how it makes you look at yourself. You're like, he came from me, so I'm looking at myself a little bit.
I blame myself. I say sorry to her all the time. And my dad. I say sorry to her a lot. Like that comes from me. I'm sorry. Or my dad, I'll call him up randomly. Like, so just sorry. I know exactly. I'm not saying a specific reason why, but I know we put you through some stuff growing up, and I apologize.
Yeah, exactly. I know that's a good point though. Like I remember the one thing that I keep thinking about too is like reminding myself to call my mom and like thank her. I'm like, you have to put up with so much stuff that when you're a kid, you don't realize it. And then when you're an adult, you don't realize it. But then when you have kids,
so you're like, oh, shoot, that's all you think about.
Like they sacrifice so much, all this stuff, but you're never really thankful for that.
Yeah.
And then like, I got to remember every time I talk to my mom on the phone, hey, thanks for putting up with me. Like no kids eat. like, oh my gosh, this is so much work. She's like, oh, you don't have to thank me. I'm a parent. But I'm like, no.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing, though. We think of them as we always think about our parents as just our parents and them not
Yeah.
having lives prior
Yeah.
to us. Like, you know what I mean? Like your mom could have been out there having a great time, and all of a sudden your ass comes and they gotta deal with you. So their life is put on hold because they have to deal
Yeah.
with the kid. You know what I mean? And we don't think
Yeah.
about it like that. We're just thinking that's our parent, and they should ask. We should be able to ask them whatever, and they should do and help us out. But it's not always like that for everybody. Um,
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
have a question. Kind of separate from what we're talking about. With you said you're out there and you guys don't have a lot of family help. I wanted to ask you specifically as a father, do you have any kind of tribe? Do you have like a group of guys that if there's like any kind of questions about fatherhood or any kind of like issues at all that you could just like hit a group chat or like even hit a couple guys that be like, yo, I need advice on this. What should I do? Do you have like a kind of like a little small tribe that helps out?
Stay tuned. Drinking with Dads will be right back. The Dream Team are a manhood development program that plays basketball. Their focus is getting the boys to be better individuals and leaders in the community while making them excellent basketball players. While most AAU programs cost over $5,000 a year, they are free for families and provide uniforms, warm-ups, shoes, and educational learning events. So they need money. To donate or hear more about the program, go to www.dreamteamantioch.org. Cheers. Now back to the show.
I'm building one right now, but it wasn't like since Jackie and I since we moved away from our Brooklyn tribe because we were developing a little family there. And I did the whole wine bar thing in Denver and had to like re-meet everybody. But like again, you have to meet parents and dads. You have to like find a new group, and sometimes that's really hard, especially when when you're at your house a lot. So like,
Yeah.
finding that new community, that new tribe is like the goal. Like it's starting right now because I met a couple dudes. It's like, oh, like you get it. You got, the same kind of thing going on. But that's like, it's funny that you say that because that's like an important thing. It's like on my list of like a priority. The priority is to get that. And so I'm actively trying to find, groups or something that's like a little bit out of my comfort zone because I would like to rely on people that I already know that have kids.
Yeah. I feel that.
City, you kind of have to like go with where you're at. So building that up is what I'm trying to do right now. But I don't really have that. But I want that right now. Like I
feel that.
4.5. Yeah, 4.5. What about you?
Me, nah. I mean, I do have people I could go to. Yeah. I mean, I can't. I'm lucky, man, and I'm sure you're lucky too in this way. But my father is an amazing man, and like one of those people that like wasn't just my father, but father to a lot of other people. I mean, he only has 3 children, but he had like a lot of my friends who didn't have their fathers around, like looked at my father as a father. So I had an amazing role model, and because of that, like it helps me out. It helps me deal with a lot of hard situations. But if it gets too hard, I definitely can always go to him. I can always go to my brother, who's a really amazing father too. And I got a whole bunch of homeboys that are fathers. I'm the last one pretty much to have kids, other than maybe 2 of us. And so like I can always go to them if I have questions or problems, and that does help. So yeah, I guess I do have a tribe. Never even thought about it until you just asked me back. I just thought I'd ask you guys questions, but that's one I never got asked back to. Yeah, I guess I do have a tribe. Speaking of that though, like so in this type of situation with having kids, we get bogged down a little bit. Like we get to a point sometimes where it is only like it's us and the family, and there's no disconnect. In order for your own sanity, what is one thing that you do without Jackie, without your kids, that's just for you to kind of, again, like for your sanity, to make you relax a little bit, something that just brings you joy, but that's not including the family at all?
Yeah, and that's so important to have. Like to me, it's like I have to, tap into my creativity and like write or paint or, do something that is like entrepreneurial, something where I'm like, oh, I have an idea. Like, let me see this through. write it out, stuff like that. You guys getting hungry. Okay.
He's going for you.
It might be bottle time. But yeah, I mean, I started running a lot. And like, so like exercise is huge, cooking is huge.
Me too.
Yeah, writing, cooking, running, like stuff that just like gets those endorphins going and gets like helps me get like a sense of self again.
Uh-huh.
Like dad is an identity, but also there's still like a Joel identity that I don't want to die,
I agree. I absolutely agree.
It's hard. It's hard, but it's hard to keep that person alive, So to give that person some time whenever you can get it is important. So I try not to waste time when I have the time to do something by myself. I'm like, I gotta maximize, like I gotta maximize.
Got 4 hours. I could run, I could write, I could paint.
Yeah. I'm gonna run with my easel, paint, run, and then I'm gonna record myself, writing a story. Yeah.
No, I feel you on that. Mine is, of course, that Friday thing, but also at nighttime, when I get a chance, because he does wake up in the middle of the night. He's not sleeping through the night yet. So, because he wakes up in the middle of the night, I do get distracted and have to go help out a lot of times. But though I say those moments of the nighttime getting some work done or just getting some writing done helps out a lot. And then those Fridays really, really help me out when I can. I haven't done the Friday thing in a month though. Like it's been kind of hectic around here at the beginning of the year. My birthday's tomorrow, by the way. So
your birthday's tomorrow?
My birthday's tomorrow.
Dude. Happy birthday.
Thank you. So we're gonna have our second day away from him tomorrow. Her sister's gonna take him, and we're gonna go to dinner for my birthday. So I'm kind of excited about that. I mean, it just to even have just me and her time is gonna be fun. But it's hard, man. It's been hard to have just to tear away some time from my own identity too. But again, I'm new, so being new is not about my identity like right now. Like it's about the family, and I'll pull when I can. I'll pull away when I can. And this is Jayton, but I'm daddy right now. I'm daddy, so that's what it is. This is one of my last questions. Your father's in your life, right? Your father's in your life. Okay. So with him being in your life and you being around him growing up, was there anything that he told you, some advice that he gave you before having your kids that you still use, that was one of the things that's been a key for you with raising your kids that's helped out?
Oh, that's a good question.
And if it wasn't him, if you have another father figure, because a lot of my friends had stepfathers or like an uncle or something that gave them some advice. So it could be from anybody that you consider like kind of on that level of a father for you growing up.
Yeah. My dad always led by example. Like he wasn't one to talk a lot. Like that's not entirely true, but like if he wanted to get a point across, he does it. He does it over and over till like bakes into. So I think a lot of like what he did, he was like a good role model by the way he lived his life, and he always reminded all of his kids to be thankful in all situations. To take that time to be super thankful. Even to this day, he's getting really old. He's just like, remember to be thankful is like the thing that he always remembers, So, and that like, even though it's a simple thing, it does help because it's easy to get impatient. It's easy to get frustrated. It's easy to get, wrapped up in your own life, wanting this and wanting that back, but you can't have it back, like my wine life, I don't really have anymore. But like, if you focus on that, that's one way of living. But if you focus on what you do have and
being grateful,
exactly. That like it's better, and it's just makes things easier and makes things like more real, and you stay present more. So, I would say that's like the biggest takeaway. But I catch myself doing a lot of my dad things, that are just like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm turning into my dad. It's funny, like it's so subconscious.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. My dad gave me a lot of them, so I just picked from the tree of Abraham whenever I need to remember some kind of Yoda quote from my dad.
Yep.
I remember that's perfect for this situation. Let me pull this off this leaf off the branch. This is my last question for you. First of all, I appreciate your time, man, for doing this for me. This is like, I know a lot of people are busy and you have a newborn, so it's like, I get it. I really appreciate you sitting down with me and doing this. My last question for you is, what's a good piece of advice for me as a new father?
Yeah, I'd say the best piece of advice I could probably give is what I touched on a little bit earlier, but is to stay present. Remember to stay present and remember and think about when you're not present to try to get back into the present. Like if you're like distracted, thinking like, oh, I'm distracted right now is even a good way of like trying to remain present with your kids, with what's going on. Because things like life slips by so fast, but the one I've learned just from my own experience to slow it down a little bit and to really like absorb it is to like really think about what's in the room while your kid's screaming and like the sights and the smells and the sounds and like the chaos, like really dive into it instead of being like, I got to get out of here. This is driving me crazy because that's just going to keep happening and it's just going to chase you around life. Like dive into it and like really like get all your senses aligned when like chaos is happening and like just like jump into it as if it's like a swirling pool of unknown, just like jump into it and like think about what's happening. It's a hard thing to do, but like when Emery's panicking and going crazy, like you can either be like, okay, you got to fix the problems and all that stuff, or you can just be like, wow, like I have this kid, like two people came together to create this thing, upset about something, like man, like what an amazing experience to go through as like someone to like who's been given the role of like taking care of like stuff like that, like slowing down time when things are chaotic is like you get tingly and it becomes very special. So
it does.
Like that goes wrong with like patience and all that stuff, but like slow down time and think about slowing down time and see what comes to your head. Like it's pretty cool.
I like that. It's so funny that meditation has become such a part of my life now that is exactly what I'm meditating for, is to stay present, because that's one of the things is like you get caught up in the future stuff. You get caught up in everything that has to come next. And you just like, can I just get through this moment right now because he's crying and stuff just to get to the grass on the other side? And you're like, no, sit in it, slow down, relax. I like that. I'm gonna use that. Sound like a yogi, brother.
Well, it's coming from someone who like fought it for so long until I hit a brick wall, and then like I was listening to some meditation or something, and it's like a small little nugget that wasn't even about that, but I took, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna use this. And like, your kid's screaming on the plane, and instead of like panicking, it's just like dive into the chaos, and it's so much like I feel like I'm living more life doing the most mundane things.
I feel that.
Like this is life. Like I could go to like a baller ass wine tasting, which will be great, but like what's better than just like hang out with your kid who's screaming sometimes? It's just all perspective,
It is.
So it's like, I'm trying to get to that place more consistently where I'm like, I'm happy no matter the circumstance because I can slow it down and like appreciate it. But it's a practice. So
man. It's something I'm working on. Something that is probably being honest with you, that's probably the most important thing in my life right now is really just being in the moment and being present. It's a practice that I've been working on quite a bit since he was born, and of course I have not mastered it, but I recognize it now. Like I'm very I know when I'm triggered and it takes me off my little path. And I bring myself back a little quicker than I could before. Before it was just a deep dive. I'd be like, I'd fall off my path and I just like, why did this happen? Oh, this is pissing me off. And I just go down that deep hole. Now I'm like, I trip, stumble, I'm like, oh no. Right the vehicle. We good. Yeah, so, I really appreciate this, bro, for real. I
want advice from you as a new dad. Like you probably have some gold nugget. Like, you got anything for me?
Oh yeah, let me think. Hold on. Well, you probably do this anyway, but the thing that I'm trying to do more than anything since he was born is make a soundtrack to his life. So I want music playing pretty much at all times. Like whenever we're eating, I try to throw some music on. we do this thing because he doesn't take baths every day because that's just not what you do. From what we were told, you don't do that. You don't have to take bath every day. Especially when he wasn't, he was just breastfeeding, but now he's on the solid foods. We're going like about 4 times a week that we give him baths or whatever. And after bath time, we have this thing because it's always her shower time when we're doing bath time. So we do it, she'll shower and we're cleaning the baby together. And then she continues and I take him out, I dry him up, put his Pampers on, put his night outfit, like his pajamas on. And then we go downstairs and we have this tradition after I brush his hair, I throw on music and I dance with my son every single night. Every single night that we do that, like literally the music's playing and he'll be tired or sometimes he'll be animated. Sometimes we'll be listening to Jamiroquai. Sometimes we'll be listening to like Sade, and I have him in my arms and we'll just be dancing, man, until she's done and she comes down and then she'll take him and breastfeed him and then put him to sleep or whatever, like put him to sleep for his first sleeping shift because he's not sleeping through the night. But like that, those times are special to me, man. And I feel like that's things that the music idea has generated these other ideas that I'm enjoying with my son. So I would say play music as much as possible, bro. I think music is it's a soother. Even when he's upset, put some music on it. It sometimes can calm him down and stuff like that. So that's one of my big things.
I like that, and that helps slow everything down too. It's like your music, you're dancing, and all right, I'm gonna steal that one from you. I like that. All right, let's go.
Even when I'm feeding him, man, like even feeding him is really cool. I'll throw some music on and I'll be like chopping up some stuff for him, and I'll bring it over to his little seat, and he's moving around because I'm moving around and stuff.
I love that.
Fatherhood, I love, man. I really, really, really love it.
Dude, that's amazing. I love that. I love that.
Well, cheers, bro. Cheers. It's been a minute. I'm so happy you were able to do my show, man. For real. Drinking with Dads, guys. Joel Kampfe, great person, great father, and till next episode. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. And Emil, best birthday ever.